So hello folks, a very good morning to all of you, and I hope you are well, fine and good. And in this video we'll be discussing about repairing the complex India-Nepal relationship and how we usually governing different project as well as different power projects as well as road projects as well as infrastructural development which usually used to takes place in Nepal as well as India, and what are the different cross-border disputes which is even been discussed here. And also it is usually discussed about China's interference with Nepal as well as different project which China has been involved, and how to find a resolution when China is involved in that. So these all things plays a important role when usually the Sher Bahadur Dubey, who usually had his visit recently in to India. So everything has been discussed, and what are the different quiet dialogues which usually resolves to many differences, with New Delhi reading to be sensitive and genius site. So these things are even important when the government is usually making a progressive development with neighbor countries, and how usually they usually want to give their footprint in Nepal too. So as like other as like in the past, and as like in the past, how usually India is going to govern the new administration of Sher Bahadur, and how they usually make their involvement in different projects and in different power projects, even we can say that. So this is here I have underlined, and as well as I have highlighted different things or different topics or different perspective points, or we can say that the highlighted topics are even important, even I can say that. So when Dubai, who usually made his involvement as a Prime Minister of Nepal in 1995 in his first teenager. Now he now at the age of 75, he is again became the PM of Nepal. So what he usually wants to treat with, and he is no stranger to the complex relation between the two countries, right? So one is he's not a stranger. He even know everything about how India usually had, and how India usually helped in the difficulty times, and how India usually had his footprint in the past too, in the 10 decade in the decades back, we can even say that. So what is positive outcomes? When we usually discuss about positive outcomes, it usually had a involvement in the projects. Like among the highlights was the operationalization of 25-kilometer cross-border rail link from Bihar to Katura, Nepal. The two further phases will extend its Bilapur and Badribas, which is 787 crore project. So this is also plays important role between India and Nepal. Then after, it has Exim bank concessional loans of 200 crore. There is a dozen hydroelectric project planned in the Soli corridor, for which the Nepal Electricity Authority has concluded PPS of 325 megawatt. Okay, so this is how the interference of Kathmandu as well as Nepal to make the awaited projects to be completed, and different projects have been unified here on 27th of February. Mr. Dubey pushed through the rectification of the agreement with the US Millennium Challenge of Cooperation and MC. So despite the reservation of the coalition, okay, his coalition partner, the Maoist of UML, Unified Socialist, the agreement provides grant of 500 millions of building 318 kilometer of high voltage transmission line along the substation, and maintenance of 300 kilometers of west east highway. So these things are important when we discuss about the agreements between the past agreements as well as the present agreement with which the previous Prime Minister Oli has done, as well as now Dubai will be doing that. So China's growing concern or role. So here Indo-Pacific also comes into existence because of some certain reasons about the interference of how China is not going to interfere in the Indo-Pacific, US Indo-Pacific regions. So for different projects of port generation, for different project of port reconstruction and revamp, revampation. So China's growing role. So China even has a very crucial role in the form of army, in the form of monarchy. They usually wants to during the monarchy, even we can say that China wants to involve themselves in the different cultural, traditional, as well as perspective of different different cultural perspectives of how they are being interfered with the monarchy rule, or you can say that in the Tibetan part too, they wants to involve in that too. So that's the reason why Mr. Oli has been a visit to Beijing in 2016. Then after the president of China has also visited Nepal in the year of 2019. So an annual development assistance to be hiked to 120 million, which usually China has been involved in different projects like airports. Okay, so airport expansion in Pokhara and Lumbini. Okay, so these are the two major airports where the China has been involved. So India should have to make a concern on that, and India should have to make a very good comeback with the relation they have been maintaining with China too. So as far as there should be certain differences which should be made to make them completion in time. So managing differences. What are the differences? Here I can say that language and religion part of the success Mr. Dubey's visit was the none of the difference was allowed to dominate the visit. Yet to build upon the positive mood, it is necessary these issues will be discussed behind closed doors and a track to track 1.5 channel. So I hope you have understood that about how they usually wants to make a nation's equality, nation's progression with a very closed doors. So here it also been mentioned about the aspects of their individual capacity and not binding on governments. It should be possible for the two foreign ministers to acknowledge it publicly. It would even be made public to kickstart track to conversion, which is usually demonstration about the 2016 which have done. So this is also plays important role when we usually discuss about the managing differences. So we all know that on the boundaries it is totally different. I'm not going to I'm Mr. Oli has different opposition parties, different propagandas to be followed. It is such a negative perspective which has been generated with the Indian subcontinents in the ruling of Mr. Oli, as well as the pandemic even also had lot of damage to every country. Is not only that. So this is also plays many important roles when we usually discuss about the boundary disputes. So I hope you have got an idea regarding the projects as well as the bilateral relationship and how India is going to govern with the Nepal's relationship in the new era. So let me end the video here itself. Thank you.